So there have been some massive developments in the case that I covered the other day where there were 5 homicides that occurred in a Sarasota gated community, which is now connected to homicides in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I did see some updates coming in yesterday, but I was waiting for some more clarity on them, which there is some today that provides more information and some more clarity on the victims and how things are connected. So I want to identify the victims, and the identities are covered directly from family members, and they kind of gave a little statement that identifies who they were in life. Now, I want to apologize because their last names, I'm going to try my best to pronounce them. I'm not always the best at that. These are really hard, but I'm going to do my best, so apologies in advance if I do not pronunciate them correctly. I tried to look them up of how to do that. There is Ben Azizov, who is described as a joyful son and grandson, who had a whole life ahead of him. His life had only just begun. There is Larissa Layudaya, a daughter, sister, and deeply loving mother. There is Stan Layudoy, a cherished son, brother, and fiance with his whole life ahead of him. Florita Stolyar, a devoted mother, wife, and heart of her family. Anatoly Lofe, a loving father, stepfather, and steady presence. There is also Olga Greinart. Now, there was no specific extra sentence kind of defining her, unfortunately. Olga has a little bit of a separate presence outside of the connected 5 family members. So I'm going to explain a little bit how everything occurred and the connection. Now, according to Fort Lauderdale police, the suspect in this case was Russell Coate. He was age 51, who's responsible for all of this. First went after Larissa, who's aged 46. She is in the top right photo, and her son Ben, aged 18. He is in the bottom left, right above me, at their home on Northeast Avenue in Fort Lauderdale. After Russell devastatingly took their lives, he then traveled over to Sarasota to the Amberlea neighborhood, where he then took the lives of Larissa's brother, Stan. Now, Stan, Larissa's brother, is a photo of the man who is in the top center. Stan was said to be visiting his family from California. After that, Russell went after Larissa's mother, Florita, who is center bottom pictured. Then went after Larissa's stepfather, Anatoly, who is on the top left pictured. Then went after 49-year-old Olga, who is pictured on the bottom right with the blonde hair. Now, Olga is a cleaner who worked at the Lofi's Osprey Polyclinic business that they had. Now, Olga was said to be at the home helping Florita, who had hurt her back when she had been targeted by Russell. Russell turned the weapon on himself and took his own life. Authorities did say that Russell was in a previous relationship with Larissa, but it's not known why he went after her and all of her relatives in Sarasota. Now, Larissa and Ben are survived by her daughter, Eve, and Ben's father, Eldar. Stan is survived by his fiancée, Leslie. The family made an impactful statement saying, quote, "They were not just names in a headline. They were loving parents, devoted parents, cherished children, and dear friends. Their loss leaves an unfillable space in the hearts of everyone who knew them." The victims' families also thanked the public for their support. They went on to say, "We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of messages, kindness, and concern. Please know that your support truly means more than we can express. While we are not able to respond individually or participate in interviews at this time, we hope to do so when these immediate matters are behind us and we have the space to properly grieve. As of this time, the family does have a GoFundMe to pay for funeral, legal, and travel expenses, as well as counseling after suffering their tragic loss." Now, just for a little bit of perspective as well, it is a 200-mile difference between the Fort Lauderdale home of Larissa and the rest of her family in Sarasota. Larissa's property manager was briefly interviewed and went on to state about Larissa, saying, "She was just a happy, happy woman. Never an ounce of negative energy in all my time dealing with her." A neighbor told the press that they saw someone go into the residence on Tuesday morning. They stated, quote, "Yesterday morning, I was loading my tools into the vehicle and I saw a guy come running around here. And he went to the driveway and hit the keypad on the garage door and the door went up. And I just didn't think anything of it. And then I got a call around 3 o'clock, what had happened. And I started tying everything together and I was like, man, I hope that wasn't the guy I saw." So it sounds like he must have still known a code to be able to get in, possibly. Then later on across the state, the Sarasota police got a phone call that a man was suffering a wound from a firearm at the front door of his home in the gated community of Amberlea. And that's when they arrived to find him and the other victims inside of the home. Now, I did just post before this video the 911 call that was released of that incident and the heroic actions that a neighbor did try to provide CPR on the victim at that time. It's about 5 minutes long if you want to listen to that, but I posted it separately so that it's optional. Now, somebody who's a roommate with Russell made a quote, and they said that he pretty much kept to himself. They stated, quote, "He was very quiet. I have been scratching my head wondering how he would go through with this, and then also drive 4 hours and see red the whole time and commit more." Prior to these incidents, it is said that Russell has not had any history of mental health problems or violence. Now, if you are looking to contribute to the GoFundMe at this time, you should be able to find it simply if you do Google the Sarasota GoFundMe. There is also a link to the GoFundMe included in the NBCMiami.com coverage in the incident. Thank you all for tuning in to The Light. As always, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you all in the next one.